So there's a YouTuber slash doctor here on the platform known as Dr. Mike. And if you're familiar with Dr. Mike at all, you know ever since the pandemic hit back in, February or March, he's made a countless number of videos giving people, information about the virus and tips on how to not catch it and to stay safe during this whole pandemic. And over the past few days or so now, Dr. Mike has been exposed as a complete fraud and hypocrite. It's kind of wild how this dude has sat here for the past 8 or 9 months now on his channel with over 6 million subscribers, pulling millions of views per video, telling everyone to stay home and to wear masks everywhere you go, bring 2 masks. They've even brought him on the news to give people tips about the virus, and he pretty much just lost all credibility right here off of one simple situation. Now, just in case you're not too familiar with Dr. Mike and you've never seen any of his videos in the past, I'm gonna go ahead and roll a clip of one of his videos back in June talking about COVID. And trust me, you're gonna understand why I'm showing you this clip later on in the video.
I gave us so much credit as a nation in the beginning. I would go on nationwide TV shows and say that there's so much unity around COVID. And now, I don't know what happened over these last few weeks, but we threw social distancing out the window. We threw masks out the window. And we're no longer being alert. We're no longer being proactive. And what's happening? COVID cases are spiking, people are dying, and the second wave isn't even here yet. 18 states are experiencing new highs of COVID-19 cases. 6 states have a spike greater than 50% in their cases. This is a huge problem, folks, because the way we control COVID right now is by being responsible, both you and me. And that means keeping 6 feet away from others. That means wearing a mask at all times where you're encountering other people.
Now, what's funny is that's him back in June telling everyone, me and you have to be responsible. We all have to wear masks and socially distance. And if we go ahead and pull up the coronavirus numbers here in the US currently in the end of November, if you look at the numbers back in June compared to now, it's a night and day difference. In June, we were under 50,000 cases a day, and now we're getting close to 200,000 cases a day. And ironically, back in June when we were at, about a quarter of the cases of what we're at now, Dr. Mike was apparently just so embarrassed with how people were handling the pandemic. People weren't taking it as seriously anymore. But now, just a few months later, and Dr. Mike is currently partying in Miami and going against pretty much everything he's preached over the last 9 months.
I don't know what happened over these last few weeks, but we threw social distancing out the window. We threw masks out the window. And we're no longer being alert. We're no longer being proactive. And what's happening? COVID cases are spiking. People are dying.
Now, after pictures started to surface of Dr. Mike at a party on a boat in Miami during the midst of the worst part of this pandemic so far, Dr. Mike took it upon himself to so gracefully upload an apology video titled "Admitting When I'm Wrong." Although, as you might realize if you look at the bottom of the screenshot here, he's uploading it to his second channel with 60,000 subscribers. I'm not sure why he would try to hide this situation from his, main 6 million subscribers, but thankfully YouTube took the liberty of putting this video on trending. But I just thought that was kind of weird how he wouldn't just upload this to his main channel. It's almost as if he doesn't want people to know about the situation of him completely disregarding the pandemic. I don't know, just a thought.
This pandemic has absolutely taken a toll on all of our physical and mental well-beings. Whether you're a nurse, a contractor, a doctor, or regretfully unemployed. It's been a tough year. We're socially isolated. It's politically charged, divisive time. It's tough, and I think it's okay to say that we're all struggling a bit. I spent this pandemic in New York, but a few weeks ago, I went down to Miami to my father's apartment. And I want to talk to you about that trip because I learned a very important lesson that I want to discuss with you.
See, here's the thing. This isn't like Jake Paul or like some of the TikTokers that have been partying during this whole pandemic. You're not learning a lesson by this. You know the virus is dangerous for a fact. You know better than anyone. You're a doctor. So I'm not sure how getting canceled by people on the internet after going to a party during this pandemic has made you learn any type of lesson that you didn't know previously. What, you didn't know the virus was dangerous? You didn't know going to a party in the middle of this was gonna be bad? I think what happened here is he didn't think he was gonna get caught caught going to this party? I mean, how do we have random people on the internet having to tell an actual doctor that this isn't safe? Especially when he's a doctor giving people advice during the pandemic with 6 million subscribers. People go to this guy for advice on, what's safe to do and what's not safe to do during the whole pandemic, and then they see him at a party with no masks, no social distancing. It's a horrible look.
When I went down to Miami, my friend surprised me with a private boat as a belated birthday present. And I was very grateful. I was excited. At the same time, I was a little cautious and nervous because we're in the midst of a pandemic.
And here is picture evidence of Dr. Mike being cautious and nervous on said boat. As you can see here, he is cowering in fear over the number of people that are surrounding him with no masks and no social distancing.
So I went on the CDC website and checked the guidance for wearing masks during water activities. I checked the local boat capacity guidelines, so we were well below that. And then I started thinking about individual risk. And that's something I talk to you guys quite frequently about. I get questions like, is it safe to go on a boat? Is it safe to fly? Is it safe to see my relatives? And there's rarely a one-size-fits-all answer because risk is a spectrum. So I looked at my own personal risk level. I'm young, I don't have health problems, I live alone so I don't put anyone else at risk. I'm gonna be following the proper quarantine and testing protocols, returning back to New York. We're following all the testing, boat capacity, and travel guidelines. So I thought for me, this risk level was okay.
So he went to the state of Florida, which is one of the most relaxed states as far as COVID guidelines go. In one of the recent videos, I'm pretty sure the Nelk boys literally just went to Florida to not have to follow COVID guidelines because they're so relaxed. So he checked the guidelines in Miami, Florida, which allowed him to do this, and he decided to completely disregard the fact that 6 million people look to him for advice on how to stay safe. As he just said, people go to him to ask, is it okay to go see my family? Is it okay to go on this plane? And here he is being a perfect role model by going to a party on a boat.
I'm sorry. I let you down. What I can say is that I'm gonna strive to do better. I'm a human. I messed up here, it's true. I really did. This has been a mistake that I'm learning from, I'm working through, I've taken the time for self-reflection, I'm gonna continue to do so. I can't promise that I won't make another mistake again.
See, I'm not really sure why he's using the word mistake here because he knew the danger of the virus, he knew the responsibility that he had as a doctor with 6 million subs, and he just disregarded all of that. He pretty much has to lose all credibility here. It's almost hard to imagine how he could actually mess up this bad. He really just shot himself in the foot here in the worst way possible with this one. So with that being said, let me know what you guys thought about this whole situation. Do you think Dr. Mike should have gone to this party? Do you think, he should be canceled and should lose all credibility for this? Definitely let me know your thoughts. And with that being said, that's where I'm gonna wrap up this video. Don't forget to drop a like and subscribe if you're brand new to the channel. As always, you can follow me on Twitter at RelexYT. And other than that, I'll catch you guys in the next video. I'm out.